Let's talk Kumare. So
Mm.
Kumare is a documentary. Well, let me read my mini review and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
I gave Kumare a 3.5 out of 5, a social experiment slash documentary that tries to show us how spiritual discipleship can easily be exploited, but yet still has some good? Question mark. Intriguing, but too much focus on the filmmaker himself and his own journey of wanting to have his cake and eat it too. So, um, this is a thing for me, a documentary on religion and the subtext and unintended consequences of starting your own one. It seemed like a pretty interesting piece of subject matter. So the premise is pretty basic. This guy, he was born in New Jersey, and his parents are from India. And so he looks like he could be from India, and especially if he grows out a beard and has long hair, and he knows how to do an Indian accent. So he does all that and pretends to be a guru, and like starts going on speaking tours and just saying mumbo jumbo stuff that's kind of regurgitated stuff that he's heard from other gurus, but he's not really an expert. He's just kind of along for the ride. And he's very, he's good looking enough, and especially looks very wise but young with the beard and the hair. And the whole point is like he ends up getting some people who end up wanting to follow him and think his teachings are really relevant for their lives, and um, that's the whole thing. Is like, look how easy religion can be used to get people to, there are a lot of people in need, and it's not hard to fill that need by being something you're not. So I thought that was fascinating. Plays with that for a long time. And the whole point was is that by the end he wanted to kind of come out and reveal himself. Um, and he eventually does, but he's very he wants it both ways. Like that's the thing about this documentary. He wants to show how people can be manipulated and how religion is really there a lot of times to be the master of the people in charge, and they take advantage of you. But at the same time, there are a lot of good things that can come of it. People really need somebody to guide them and give them an inner peace and figure out their lives with them. And so I don't know. I couldn't quite resonate with the message of like of it being both ways. I feel like he kind of started friending all these people who are following him, and then he didn't want to just stick with the original premise. And then he's like, but see how it's good too. So 3 out of 5
Mm.
or 3.5 out of 5. It was good, but not great.
So it sounds like your disagreements are with the guy, not necessarily with the documentary.
Oh well, let me clarify. That's a good point because while they are with the guy, he's the one. This is one of those documentaries you can tell it was very selectively edited. Like he had tons of
Oh,
material.
okay.
He very, very specifically showed what he showed to support his narrative, and it was very obvious that way. Like he could have focused on so many different angles on religion, but he kind of focused on himself a lot, and it has kind of the Morgan Spurlock-esque voiceover of like um, he's voicing over the whole thing through in talking about it himself, and it's very heavy towards him and how he feels about things rather than letting the characters. He does let them speak a lot, but that's not the story. The story is how what he learned from pretending to be a prophet and then revealing himself later.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's very interesting. All right, cool.
So, 3.5 out of 5. Check it out if you're interested in that sort of thing. But let's move on.